Good morning, Armin.
Good morning.
Today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about talent. Do you think that talent is a useful term in the international business community? And do you feel talent has played an important role in your own personal success?
I do believe talent is actually a very healthy term, and it's a constructive thing for businesses and in general for everybody's personal life, or what everybody's try to just, what is my purpose? At the end of the day, they're trying to figure out how they can be happy. And I think that term, you want to call it talent, you want to call it gift or anything else, I believe everybody has certain soft skills that they are very unique to them, and you need to find, I believe that you need to find them and just go all in on those. In my case, and before getting to my case, that how I'm gonna figure out my what are these talents that I have, is just by testing. I have a very simple example. I always say, if I ask you what's your favorite food, you say my favorite food is pizza, and I'm gonna say like, have you ever had pasta before? You say like, no. So how do you know that? So you're not gonna know what are those so-called talents unless you start testing, trying. So, and to my students at the university, especially those that are in early 20s, I always say like, try to say yes a lot, as much as you can during your 20s, to figure out who you are. And when you figured out those things, those talents, try to go start like saying no a lot and go all in on that. Just stay in your lane. In my case, I was fortunate enough to live in and work in 3 different continents, and more or less 8-9 different cities the last more or less 10-15 years. And it helped me to try a lot, test a lot, to figure out what are those talents for me. And I realized that I suck at everything in life, and there are only very few things that I'm good at, but I'm really good at them. Those 3 things for me were, I'm a good observer, I'm a good presenter, and I'm good at connecting the dots. These are the 3 soft skills that I'm good at, and I know that I am not good at anything else in that level. And I acknowledge them, and I know that they're there, but I start focusing only on what I'm good at. And it happened to me very naturally, because especially being an immigrant for almost my whole adult life, it was the thing that there was no one to cheer me up, so I learned to be my biggest fan in a very humble way.
Sure.
And especially like when was that? Like my early 20s, maybe late 20s, when I went to New York City, the capital of capitalism. Something hit me in the face, which was, wow, like everything around you is telling you that something is wrong with you and you need to fix it. You're not beautiful enough, you're not masculine enough, you're not healthy enough, you're not educated enough, you're not happy enough. And then what? Here is the solution. You gotta pay up. And it was like, wait a minute, if everything around me is just trying to tell me that I'm like focusing on my weaknesses, and that is something that is gonna take me down, and I learned that I have to be my own cheerleader. So I started naturally focusing on my strength, which were these 3 things that I just mentioned. And being an observer, I started looking at these successful people, and I'm not necessarily talking about financial success. People who are doing or have done things in their own way, and they're happy, or they've been happy that they're not with us anymore. I don't know, someone like Michael Jordan, he didn't say like, maybe I should be better in the science class.
Sure.
He understood, and it was the theme that I could see all these successful people, they had in common. So I was like, you know what? I am gonna do the same. And that's how I did it. That's how I start like building my career and my life around it. The growth hacking agency, and later on the other startups that they came to the place, it's all around that. from the outside, when you like look at it, you're just like, oh, Armin, are you a blockchain expert, cybersecurity expert, or you have a restaurant? What is going on? Like, you're an expert of everything? Absolutely not. And I'm not claiming to be an expert in any of those. But from the inside, I am just using these three soft skills that I just mentioned to just be able to be a good marketer.
So you're saying that one needs to find one's talent, and that talent isn't necessarily a trait which you have spontaneously, but that you have to build it up and to identify it in the course of your life and then channelize it to making it work for you?
Absolutely, that's exactly what I meant. And I believe, like, if look, another thing that my personal experience, I grew up in a culture that everything, like, even that I'm Persian. I grew up in a Persian family, but I've been very Americanized and I've been very Italianized. And in all these three cultures, everybody's trying to compare themselves with someone else and try to be like, oh, I want to be as good as that person or better than that person. But what I learned was that I don't necessarily, I don't have to be better than anybody else. I have to be better than myself yesterday.
It's very
To be able to be, and that's gonna make me, if I go through that route, I'm gonna reach to a point that I'm gonna be the best version of myself. That best version of myself doesn't necessarily mean that it might be better than best version of someone else, or not like worse than someone else. I don't care.
Okay.
And it doesn't really matter. What matters is that if I feel good about myself and I feel like I became a better person every day.
Thank you very much, Armin. It's been a pleasure to speak to you, and we've learned a lot from this interview about the role of talent and what position it has in your life and in the success of the work that you do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.